Do you feel the pressure to grow your business, but doing so feels a bit like drowning? Welcome to Slow Growth Business, the show for business owners and leaders to quiet the noise and lead your business to success, one day at a time, slow and steady. If you feel your business is running you and you're ready to run it, you've come to the right place. Now, here are your hosts, business coaches Jimmy DeGroot and me, Kyle Bullock.
Hey, welcome to the podcast, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for subscribing. Please subscribe if you have not done so already. I'm Jimmy DeGroot. That's Kyle Bullock. Hey. And he's overly medicated at the moment.
I'm chowing down on a cough drop right now. And just getting over the crud, getting over the seasonal crud. And got a big prescription today of suck it up, Buttercup.
All right,
figure it out.
Cool. Hey, we're going to hammer right into this podcast, and we're going to be speaking this weekend in Chicago at the In-Store Show. And this is the end of September, so if you're listening to this anytime after September, hey, we're not speaking this weekend at the Chicago show. But we're going to talk about an issue that's kind of hot this time of year for jewelers, and that is retail relief for jewelers, how to move beyond the chaos, how to avoid the chaos. And we've got some ideas, we've got some tidbits and thoughts, and then there's a big idea, overarching idea that you're not going to solve here in 2 or 3 months, but it's something we need to be looking at holistic and long term. So Kyle, let's just jump right into it. What do you do for your team? What do you do for yourself to either prepare for or ease the burden of the retail fourth quarter holiday season?
Man, there's so many things that we could do, and I kind of don't want to give easy answers or like a balm or a salve because there's like
uphill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the easy answer, I could be like, we should go out and get a massage therapist to bring a chair in and massage everyone during the holidays, which is cool. It's a great thing. You can do that, but I don't know that solves kind of like the underlying issues when people feel stressed when they feel like there's a lot on the table.
Yeah.
There's a lot of busyness or anxiousness. I don't know that helps. Do you? I mean, those balms and salves.
No. And I think the leading thought or quiz question that we have for folks in this realm is let's look at a new hire in September. Okay. You hire somebody in September right now, and what's the vibe that they're going to feel in your store right now? You brought this idea up for this slide. Maybe expand upon that a little bit.
Oh, well, I was thinking about when we were talking, brainstorming about the seminar we're creating, that you ask somebody, how's everybody, ask a manager or owner of a business, how's everybody doing on the team? How's the environment doing? And they really don't know, but they'll probably tell you something good.
It's good. We have a good teamwork,
Good team. There's some drama. Oh, I got drama on my team.
I got a little drama,
But that's never good information as to what's really going on, because everybody on the team, every employee will tell their boss what they want them to think or feel. So you really have to get to the front line. So you could ask somebody on the front line, what do you think and what do you feel? And that's also tricky because they might feel like they need to answer that question positively. They're not ready to trust you maybe with all the dirty little issues going on that makes their life difficult.
Yeah.
But the person who knows, who will tell you like it is, most likely is the person who was just hired in the middle of that period of time, in the middle of the busy. And you plop them in for a week or a few days, have them learn some stuff. And then you pull them to the side and we could ask them, how do you feel? How would you rate the culture and the busyness of things going on? And they may want to also paint a rosy picture because they don't want to lose their job. But they also don't know any different. They don't know the team either. So they might say things like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm just trying to figure this out. The team
Hmm.
doesn't
Right.
feel very welcoming. I don't have any friends here. All of those are indicators that there's something going on in your culture. It's a problem.
Right.
And that is the real relief that you need to go seeking.
Sure.
What would an outsider who was plopped in, or a contractor who worked there for a week, what would they
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
about your culture and how things are functioning?
Yeah. And I think also that would manifest itself by maybe a statement of, I'm not sure, but there's something strange. Or, I can't put my finger on it, but I'm getting a little of this vibe, a little of that vibe. Maybe it's a little too soon for them to tell, but they can definitely tell something's maybe off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
might say things like, they might want to talk about their pay
Mhm.
early on. That's an
Yeah.
indicator that something's off here. They don't feel
Yeah.
valued. They don't, or is there upward mobility?
Mhm.
Is there a future here for me? What does that
Yeah.
look like? That means that they
Yeah.
don't feel like they have ownership of anything
Or see that
or
vision.
see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
don't know what that is. It's not spelled out. How does my life get better being here? So those are things that when you see them in the middle of all the chaos of retail, the height of retail, holiday seasons,
Yeah.
those are the indicators that those are your real stress points. Those are the real issues going on. That a massage chair in the store or a paid lunch just doesn't answer. It's it's not enough to
Yeah.
fix what's going on, which is cultural. There's a cultural issue. And
Yeah.
that is what you got to focus on and dial in on and say, I got to deal with that first.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, you and I talk a lot about culture because we know how important it is, and we know. I have our last one of our last slides here is, don't take it from us. Take it from Gary Ridge, who took WD-40 from a tiny little company to a multinational company, exponentially grown, without even advertising. He did it through culture. And then, of course, Will Guidara with 11 Madison Park and all his great ventures. They put so much into their people. I'm reading a book right now by Danny Meyer, who actually sold 11 Madison Park to Will Guidara and Danny, the other Daniel Hum. I think. Anyway, he sold the restaurant to these guys, and he wrote a book called, I can't, whatever it is. I'm listening to it right now. I'm putting myself on the spot. Anyway, in his book, he talks about, it's called Setting the Table. And in his book, he talks about how this business guru said that the investor is number one. And then somebody came along later and said, nope, the customer is number one. And now this guy, Danny Meyer, is saying your people are number one. Because if you treat your people like number one, everything else takes care of itself, right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
and thus your pill that you were talking about earlier. We can't fix this with a pill. We have to fix this holistically. Um,
Yeah.
so
I want to point out something to everybody listening, because this is something we've seen with retailers across the country. So I'm going to point out a cultural problem I'm seeing over and over and over again. And hopefully we're going to give a prescription on how to fix this.
okay.
I'm seeing that retail businesses, you're asking too much of your employees. You're demanding too much of your employees. And
Mm,
many of you listening to this are going to go, are you kidding me? My team is lazy, or they don't do enough as it is. Here's what I've found. And Jimmy, I think you're going to just jump right on this with me. When we come in and we look at the functions that a sales team is doing and the expectations of that sales team, from the outside looking in, being that guy who could just like show up, coming into the culture where everyone's like, it's all great and fine.
right.
We can see very clearly that actually, no, it's not. Your team is exhausted. They're overworked. They have too many things. And this is evidenced by the fact that they're not doing anything excellent. They're doing everything mediocre. And you're frustrated that they're doing everything mediocre. And the answer to this is in radical ownership and in really diluting down to something very simple. So, quick story. I may have told this on the podcast, but it's worth bringing back today.
Okay.
One of my very first internships, I was an undergraduate in psychology, I was doing clinical psychology at the time, so counseling, therapy. I did this internship at a children's home. So everybody, all of our clients, they were all teenagers who had no home. They were all homeless. And we took them in and gave them a home, a place to stay, and then counseling services. So you can imagine that the cases that we saw were very, very difficult. And they had some real abuse in their lives. So every case you get is overwhelming in its scope. Like, what do I start with this kid? You know, they've got behavioral problems. They've got family problems. They didn't have a home. Where are we going to go to next? There's all these things. This company's been around for such a long time. It's so well regarded. The head director of that organization brought me into his office the very first day. This is an open office area. And he sits me down and he goes, Kyle, there's only one thing I want you to do. Every single day you work for me, I want you to love kids. Whatever else you got to do, the task lists, all the other stuff, it's important. But the only thing I want you to do every day, all day, is love kids. Got it? Yes, sir. And I'll never forget how powerful that lesson was, because when I was overwhelmed, the counseling staff around me who was mentoring me would tell me, Kyle, chill out. Don't worry about the grant. Stop freaking out about, taking kids here and there. Stop it. Chill. Go love those kids. And it would tell me, go downstairs and play around the pool with them. Go have a snack with that kid on the porch. See how they're doing. Those moments made that whole experience radically different. And that organization is one of the most successful organizations in helping young people in our community. Now,
you've never told this story, by the way. This is cool.
It was life-changing. What he taught me was just do one thing. And in your height of your retail season, just do one thing for me. What would it be? I often preach, you can do 1, maybe 2 things a day with excellence. You cannot do 3 and 4 with excellence. You can do 3 or 4 things pretty well. You can do 5 or 6 things in a day, mediocre to subpar. You can do 2 things a day with excellence. So I'm going back to your teams who are overworked, but you can't believe what I'm saying. Oh, they're overworked. Because they're doing too many things. What's important in your business? The only thing that matters is what? Perfect case in point, and then I'll get off my soapbox. You can fill it in. Jewelry store.
I'm adding this slide, by the way. So if I seem a little I'm listening.
Jewelry stores. You guys have salespeople who are selling jewelry. Oh, and they also take in repairs. Oh, and they also follow up on those repairs. Oh, and they also have to clientele. Oh, and they also need to help take care of the show floor. And you also want them to tag things. Oh, and they got to change watch batteries. See how many I'm up to? I'm at 7 already. I can keep going.
Yeah.
This is
Don't forget
standard.
Cleaning. Don't forget setting up, tearing down.
I'm at 10 things already.
All right.
Par for the course. We've seen this over and over.
Yeah.
They're not going to do 10 things with excellence. What are the 2 things that they're going to do with excellence? Everything else, your job is to eliminate it radically. And if it means that the service goes away, it means the service goes away. That's not making you money. If it means you're going to take fewer transactions on repairs or batteries, do it. Because what is most important to you in your business? What drives profit and what makes those experiences valuable? Those are the only 2 things they have to do each and every day. And if in the retail season, you beat that drum every single day in the morning huddle when you're putting things out, remind them, guys, the only thing I want you to do is to show and sell jewelry to people and have wonderful conversations with them. Anything else you do beyond that, that makes me thrilled to pieces. But the thing that matters is just that. Just do those 2 things. Everything else, push it off to the side. We're not doing it. Stave it off. That will bring you retail relief. So says me.
I love it. I'm adding it right now. This is fantastic. I love it.
I preach. The preach.
I,
But yeah.
no, but
Sorry.
I love that you boil it down to one thing, because I think about everything from training to messages in church and to advertising and all that kind of stuff. Really, we're too convoluted with way too many ideas that we can not grasp at all. One thing. I love it. And then and your mission every day is, what are two things that I'm going to accomplish? Two important things. But I think three is the ultimate number in terms of can't go beyond.
3 is a lot.
Right?
3 is a
Three is a
lot.
lot. Three is a lot. So
And think about what those 3 things are. Well, I want you to sell, I want you to do repairs, and I want you to clientele. That's a lot to do in a day. And you go, that shouldn't be that much. I've been flying by the seat of my pants for 40 years. Yeah, and look at what it got you. You're listening to this podcast about retail relief.
yeah.
My friends, that pace will absolutely crush you. And they don't want to be crushed.
And you don't want to be crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love this too, because a lot of people that we know that are leaders in the business are doing so much, and we need to get them to let go and have other people do, other things better than them. So this goes for you too, folks. If you're listening and you're a leader, you got to pare it down to one thing every day. And my advice to you would be, your one thing is to love and support your team. And be out there for them. What I always love doing, and you know this, is at Christmas time, I didn't sell, but if I was in front of somebody selling, I turned it over as soon as I could, or as soon as it was appropriate. And sometimes it was a pastor friend of mine or something that they wanted to buy from me. Fine, I'm going to take the whole sale. But otherwise, I'm out there gift wrapping, supporting, getting tools, getting credit applications, whatever. Allow me to help you. I'm the one wiping off the counters, because that was fun for me. Okay. So I'm not, so that was my one thing, is support my team holidays.
And wildly valuable. It really is.
Yeah.
They don't have to think about it anymore.
Right.
So I'm going to put you on the spot if I can. I think
You
a
always
prescription.
do anyway.
I always do. Sorry, that's what we do on this thing. I'm thinking about a prescription for everyone listening to help you in retail relief before it gets to the height of the season. You're going to be in relief when you eliminate. When you eliminate something that is dragging you already, because the drags today are going to really be anchors tomorrow when it's really busy.
Right.
And in any business growth, here's a thought that just came to mind as you were talking. For businesses that grow, like really grow and develop to the next level, they almost all do it by eliminating something, radically eliminating something that they used to do that they no longer do anymore. And so, Jimmy, what have you seen out there, maybe through a client or through a friend, where they radically eliminated something in their business and it had a substantial impact in how they had relief, calm, that peaceful, relaxing state of mind? Does something come to mind when you go?
Yeah, absolutely. You know it does. And the big thing is, and I'm not going to say the brand name, but it was getting rid of things that were taking up a lot of time and not making money for the business. And for example, it was a low end silver line. Okay. We had a lot of people at this counter, and you folks all know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say the name. There are a lot of people at this counter taking up a lot of time. There was a big number at the end of the season, but when I took out my expenses and time and cost and headache, I gladly got rid of that. And I've seen over and over again, over and over, every time you and I hear it so many times, that people are so glad they got rid of that element. Now, call it a silver line, call it a service that doesn't make any money, call it a product that doesn't make any money, but takes up a lot of time. And another thing, just going to say one more thing, watch bands. Remember watch bands? Especially like Twistaflex watch bands. Folks, if you've never sized a Twistaflex brand watch band, it takes a lot of time. It takes glasses. It takes, it's, you got to be very patient.
Dante's fifth level of hell is changing those for eternity. That's what that
But
is.
then here's the real kicker. You spent a long time doing it. Let's say 20 minutes at least. You're 20 minutes. I'm back there. Anyway, I won't go into it because I could be here all day. But then you hand it to a customer and say, "Oh, it's a little loose. Could you put one back in?"
God.
And now I have to invest the same amount of time. Anyway, so you get the idea. I know you were setting me up and you knew what the answer was going to be, but that's the big, hairy, audacious annoyance.
So I have to point out, we did an analysis. This is a shameless plug for Train Retail because we don't take sponsors. We are our sponsor. So I get to plug ourselves.
Yes.
I'll scrub all the specifics and details, but we did an analysis for a company where there was a part of the business that had grown wildly. It used to be doing, let's just say, I'm making some of these numbers up, so it's not exactly the same, but let's say it was about $300,000 a year in this section of their business, and the traffic just elevated in this area. And now it's doing over $500,000 of business. And they went, wow, look at this. Traffic out the door. It's amazing. We're really, really happy with this line. We're super pumped. Did this little analysis. We took into account time to sell, time to, service, all the things, right? In order for them to grow from where they were at 300,000 to 500,000, they are now operating at a $200,000 loss in that category.
Yep.
And then they go, we don't want to hear that. We don't want that because look at all the money we made. We go, yeah. And it's costing you about $150,000, $200,000, I think it was $200,000 a year to do it. But look at all the money we got. Yeah, but you're still losing. There's no way to know what's really dragging your business down until you analyze it and you look at it. Because sometimes those areas that really, really took off are costing you so much in time and work and effort that, yeah, it looked good to have $500,000 in paper from the line, but you're losing $200,000 to get it. Stop it. That's a huge hole in a big boat.
Kyle, my customer count is up. My traffic's up. People are looking to me as the provider of a solution. I'm great. I don't want to lose that.
You know what we call a business that has nothing but lost leaders all over the place? It's called charity.
Yeah?
It's called charity. You can write grants for that and do a kind service, but you're not a charity. And even in charity, you have to be responsible. You think about it. So
those are the same owners that say, you know what? I just want to quit here and I want to go work a job. Flip burgers. I don't care. Yeah,
Look, I say this.
All right.
You cannot
take it home.
You cannot know what those areas are until you analyze it. And if that's a lot for you to do, please reach out. We do this. We love doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be willing to hear the answer, whether it is in your team. And the reality is, well, my team's doing great, but we look at it and go, there's cracks in the foundation. Well, my business is growing exponentially over here. It's like, well, actually, it's losing some money in areas. You have to be willing in retail relief to be willing to take the answer and say, okay, with the answer, it is now my responsibility, even if it's hard. But reduce down to what is most essential and important for your business. Take the work off of your people's shoulders as much as possible. And don't necessarily put it on yours. Just sometimes you have to get rid of stuff. So before retail relief, what are you going to eliminate in your business that is costing you time, energy, and effort now? Analyze it. Look at it. And if you need some help to do that, Train Retail.
Give us a call.
To get in touch with us.
Yeah. And if you need help thinking about what that is, just answer this question. What's your biggest pain in the butt right now? That's probably going to lead you right to it if that's not it right away. So All right, man. We're going to I don't know how we're going to get that all in 45 minutes in Chicago, but because you and I, we can get on a roll. And then we got to have people working on things too. So anyway, hey, thank you everybody. Please subscribe, and do us a favor. Send us an email right now before you do anything else, Jimmy@trainretail.com or Kyle@trainretail.com. Send us an email and tell us what your biggest pain in the business is. Just tell us what it is. We'll be glad to chat with you for, a few minutes about it. We'll be glad to chat about it here on the podcast. And we love giving relief and solutions to people. So help scratch our itch by helping us scratch your pain. Look at that. I should be an ad writer, for crying out loud. Holy man.
Get out of here.
All right, buddy. All right. Talk to you soon. And goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
See you next time.
We hope you leave this episode a little better than when you first began. If you'd like more resources to grow your business slow, steady, and consistently, check out our on-demand video catalog at trainretail.com. Or if you have a question or frustration we can help address in your business, write to us about it. We love to help solve big, ugly problems. So hit us up at Kyle@trainretail.com or Jimmy@trainretail.com. Good luck out there, and we will see you next time.